Well, is she real or not?
Yeah, she's my grandma. It's Tuesday, and all my plans have just been completely blown up for today. We'll see if the morning plans hold up. The afternoon plans are definitely off, but the morning ones are in jeopardy. Meetings, walks, discussions, you know, scheduling. It's magical. So I'm taking a little bit of a later run this morning. It's like 8:30, I think, or when I started it was around then. It's probably like 9 now. Just getting out to enjoy this phenomenal weather, get a run in, and get, hopefully, over 90, I'm hoping to get to like 94 miles in total today, I think. We'll find out by the end. So I better keep going. I'm about 4 miles in, like halfway in. I'm only gonna do 8 miles. I don't know why I said only. I feel like if I'm not doing it like a half marathon, then I'm not really running a long distance anymore, which isn't fair to the 8-mile runs, which tend to be my longer runs. But you know, I'm my own harshest critic. Speaking of which, today I thought I'd talk a little bit about social media, how I approach it, my recognition of like the irony that I kind of hate it, but I also basically make my living off of it. And, you know, just the fakeness that's out there that is what drives me crazy more than anything, I guess. I don't know, I feel like we don't see the world for what it really is anymore. And it's okay to be entertained. It's okay to see beautiful things. But, I don't know, life's kind of hard sometimes. This is nothing new, nothing particularly deep. Many of you, I'm sure, feel very similarly. But, I don't know, it's been kind of bugging me. Oh, actually, I have to wait here. Sophie's coming out for a short run with me, so I think I'm meeting her here-ish. Yo.
No.
Okay, so before I'm all sweaty and gross. Before you get any sweaty.
I'm pretty sweaty.
You're not really fresh?
I'm fresh, but I'm way overdressed for this.
Oh yeah, it's warm out.
Climate.
Yeah, it's super warm. I was just gonna ask you on camera, if you have any problems with it, what bothers you most about social media?
I have many problems.
She also actually is a journalist that hunts down like false stories and conspiracy theories, right? So yes. That could be a big part of it, but
that's the dark. I guess. Well, I was gonna say, so at a global level,
yeah,
I think just the amount of data and information and just the picture that these giant companies have of you. And I mean, the classic example is just when you see people talk about, how social media is listening because you start getting targeted ads related to something you talked about with your friend, but it's really just because they also have your location and know you're spending a lot of time with the person who just ordered something similar that they think you might also like, which I think is scarier even.
Yeah.
And that's not going to go away. And then on a personal level, it's just the amount of time
that it takes from you.
Yeah, just like superficial interactions. And I always say I am going to delete it, and then I have to use it for work, and then I want to check Instagram, and then suddenly it's been like an hour and 15 minutes, and it doesn't it's not fulfilling. It's just empty.
That's good. An hour and 15 minutes spent trying to delete it, and you end up getting sucked back into it.
Exactly.
I guess. Boop. Have a good run home. That's why it's good to have smart friends. That's also why it's good to ask your friends what they think about these kinds of things, because those are good points. That's not what I was thinking about today at all, but those are genuinely huge concerns to do with all this stuff. And the reason that I kind of tiptoe around it, that I don't necessarily, I've talked about it before, like I have talked about this before on my vlog, but I also don't bring it up because like I said earlier, I'm pretty self-aware that there's an irony of talking about social media on social media. But in a way, I don't really think of YouTube in the same light, because YouTube to me is like a content delivery platform before it's a social media platform, if that makes any sense. Like I watch a lot of YouTube because it has a lot of stuff on it that I really like. Educational content, news, hour-long lo-fi Zelda remixes, you know, the good stuff. I mean, there are problems with YouTube, don't get me wrong. There are very big obvious problems with YouTube too, and hopefully problems that we can fix. But today what I was thinking more in terms of was a little bit less technologically and more like heart issues. The things that social media does to me personally to kind of bring me down or just screw with my time. I think that was a really good tie-in from what Sophie was talking about, like how it just like robs you of time and adds no value. And that's why I've been trying to stay off of it more and more as I can, because I just feel better when I'm not on it. I also feel better when I run. Running's good for you. I feel like it'd be really easy to make a video like this criticizing how individuals use social media, or how, you know, particular people drive me crazy or make me feel like garbage. But I'm not in the business of like wasting my time thinking about or criticizing other people and how I think they might be screwing up their own life, whatever. It doesn't matter. What I'm more interested in is like, what can I do to improve my own life in the way that I see the world, in the way that I feel. And it seems like a more productive way to go about things than, you know, worrying about tearing other people down. That said, I do think that the platforms themselves operate in different ways that affect us in similar ways, but it kind of informs the relationship that I have with them and how I've changed that relationship intentionally over the last few years. And yeah, I would like to find some ways to continue to change those. I'm not going to say that I've got this down perfect. I absolutely haven't figured this all out yet, but I definitely am feeling a lot better now that I put some intentional effort into it than before I had. Also, 8 miles. I don't know why I always think it's going to be between 8 and 9 miles, probably because sometimes I've done some random additional mileage, you know, some random side runs in the midst of, but the standard route when I meet Sophie to run, it's always just around 8 miles. I got to stop saying 8 or 9 miles. Speaking of being authentic. Anyway, one of my plans got back on postponed until apparently now. This afternoon we're gonna go for a walk. I should probably go. I ate some pasta. It's time. I gotta go. Sam. Here at the same time. Look at that. Well, hey, we match. I really looks like it. I think it's going well so far. Just gotta keep Jess's bike moving. The first one is, for me, an easiest one to toss was Facebook. Facebook really makes me just feel like garbage whenever I touch it. And I think that's actually kind of how their algorithm works. This is the difference. I kind of see them and YouTube on the opposite sides of how they handle keeping you on the platform. All of these platforms just want you to stay on the platform. That's how they make their money, is by keeping you around, keeping your attention. YouTube does that by giving you stuff that you're actually interested in. Like, it's like, oh, you like that video? Let's find more videos like that. It tries to scratch the itch that you have. Whereas something like Facebook, and Facebook specifically, tends to find that little dissatisfied itch inside you and try to make that itch worse, so you continue to scratch at it. in hopes that you'll stay on the platform. Maybe you'll find it if you just stick around a little bit longer. And that's kind of the difference that I see between them. Their goals are the same, but how they go about them are really different. And for me, Facebook is an easy one to quit. I think like 2 or 3 years ago now. Yes, yes. You solved it? Perfect.
Did we solve it?
Yeah. That was a great stroll. They're lovely people. It's hot. The 70s, not used to this at all. it's nice though. Instagram, especially since it was purchased by Facebook, for me, veers more towards that direction, making me feel gross. I picked really bad timing, didn't I? Here comes the train. The funny thing is that even if I've come to hate Instagram, more or less, I still do enjoy elements of it. Mostly stories. I like posting stories. It's kind of the most fun I have on there. And that's mostly because of the GIFs. But also, I kind of feel like I can't quit it because I've been doing my photo of the day project for 10 years, 10 plus years. You know, I don't want to let them just totally derail me. Just got to find the right alternative, you know? And like I said, Twitter is more fun because it's more of like a conversation and you can follow more fun people. I try to avoid the trolls and the weird controversies and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, enjoy it for the memes and the comedians and, yeah, occasionally news. I find out a lot of stuff through Twitter. It's true. Ops. How you doing?
How are you? Oh, I like you very much.
Thanks. So, Lisa, if you have any problems, do you have any problems with, like, any issues with social media, and what would they be?
In what exact sense? What annoys me now about Instagram, because that's what I'm using the most, it's their new way of just sending so many notifications on your phone. And I know you can turn them off, but at the same time I want to see other things, so I can't turn it off. So it's super extremely annoying when it's, you know, that they're trying to sell to you and you're just say, okay guys, I'm spending so much time here, like stop selling so much. So that annoys me. And then I don't know, you have so much of it all the time, but at the same time I do feel lost sometimes, where it's like, why do I have to post? Where do I have to post? What do I have to do? Like, what's happening there? So that's really kind of like
So it steals your, basically it's always interrupting your life, like barging into your life, and then it's kind of overwhelming. Was that a summary?
Yeah.
I don't know where the camera was pointing there, sorry.
It makes me stressed. Like, it makes me stressed, and it makes me like, okay, what I'm gonna post tomorrow, what I'm gonna say, and then it's like, is it gonna be liked or it's not gonna be liked? And then it's kind of like, I mean, it's a joke, but that's what it's come to.
Good answer. All right, we got tacos, or she got tacos.
I got tacos.
I got a burrito. I'm so excited. I was really worried that El Nopal was gonna be closed. Probably it's one of the best taco places in town. I don't know if I can call anything the best taco place, because who cares what I think, but here are your tacos.
Well, I don't know, I do care because you sold me those tacos.
Well, I hope you enjoy them. You can let us know afterwards.
So, do you want me to open it?
Please.
Do you want me to, like, hold on? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready. So ready. Oh, it's all aluminum foil. Beef, pork, and chicken, yeah.
And with little lime on the side that I can sprinkle.
Happy little tacos. I'm happy.
Yeah?
I think I'm gonna want a little bit of that sauce. Passes the test?
Yeah. Whoa, that's so spicy. That's the advertisement.
Get us kicked out. So are you paid by Coca-Cola? Because it's starting to feel like maybe you are. Yeah, I've been excommunicated. That's your first one? Yet more converts to the fold.
Gallery.
Yes, and then it's in your gallery. There you go.
Live.
Yep.
No live.
Oh, you can load the live. So then the scores at the top. She just found another invader. So while she's getting that invader, the reason that I wanted to talk about this today, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time, is because I feel like I have an unspoken social contract with you as one of my viewers, as somebody who does consume the media that I produce. And as I present my life, I think it's really important to think through these things, because for me, trying to be as authentic and real as possible is really, really important. Obviously, it's not so real as to say that I'm editing a video, so trying to make sure that it's entertaining. I don't normally stand in front of cars when I'm not filming myself. You know, I take some risks for you. But I also struggle with the way that social media affects my brain. Like I was saying, Facebook just kind of makes me feel gross and worse about myself. That's why I got rid of it. Instagram's really starting to do much of the same thing. It just feels like this dissatisfaction hole that I fall into, and I'm scrolling, but I don't know why I'm scrolling. I'm not getting anything out of it. Twitter is more fun, like I said, and YouTube gives me a lot. I actually really enjoy YouTube. I just avoid reading comments. Try to be mindful of how I engage with the algorithm, to keep in mind, okay, like what I watch is gonna determine what it shows me. So I wanna make sure that I'm mindful of that and don't fall down any rabbit holes in the process. But it also means that I'm mindful of how I engage with it in the sense of what I'm adding to it. Am I adding to a conversation, or am I just adding to the noise, much like this guy's brakes, and contributing more to people falling down their own rabbit holes than, you know, actually adding something to life? I want to make sure that when people are done watching my videos, when they're done watching the full body of my work or some large portion of it, there's a sense of hope and a sense of inspiration and a sense of like, yeah, go follow the dreams that you have, but a sense of realism as well. And it's why I try to leave the warts on and everything, as far as my mistakes go, the failures. So I also want to engage with it thoughtfully and, you know, be proactive in the conversation of saying, like, there are elements of whether social media is sucking away our time and our lives, whether social media is making us feel worse about ourselves, whether it's interrupting our lives regularly and making it difficult to focus. All of these different things are things to be aware of and to talk about. If for no other reason, then that's the first step towards figuring out what do we do from here. And for me, what I've been doing has been just trying to reduce my usage in a couple of small ways. Also, she figured it out. She got it. Let's go. Good eye. You're a natural. I think that's the thing. I want to share the good and the bad. Obviously, I think that's been a part of how I've gone about doing my vlog ever since the beginning. I've learned some lessons along the way. It hasn't always been quite as transparent as I'd have liked it to be, and now I think it is much more so. But I also want to make sure I share the good. So finding a good balance between like just sharing what life is and the good times and the bad times as they come, celebrating the good and lamenting the bad, and learning from all of it as we go, I think are kind of the key elements of what I'm talking about. Because the last thing I ever want to do is to present my life as if it is somehow perfect. And that's something that does bother me in how I see a number of people putting their Instagrams and so forth together. I think it's something that bothers a lot of us. But I've been thinking about it a lot lately, especially as I reevaluate how I go about sharing my experiences and sharing my life here and in general. And I want to make sure that I'm thinking about it for the future so that I address it appropriately and don't find myself falling down a rabbit hole of like wanting to either shield people from the bad or even shield them from the good and turning into something weird and mediocre and not representative of what my life really is. Maybe that's the whole point. I just want to come back around to making sure that I'm being as truly authentic as myself to you as I possibly can. And I don't think I've broken that contract, but I think I've kind of narrowed down on it a little bit and just been kind of lost the last year like we all have, right? Lots of big thoughts with the pandemic, and we'll get through it. But those thoughts are still there. Definitely. I think I got way too much sun today. Like, whoa. Running in the sun this morning, walking for another hour and a half with Jess and Sam, and then walking for probably another couple hours with Lisa. It's nice, it feels good, but you gotta you forget. The sun can get you. I haven't been in the sun in a while, who knew? Lisa also raised a really good point when we were walking and talking, which is that a lot of people also just want to see the good, and you can't discount that. Like, there's a reason that it gets posted and that it is the most popular. Like, the things that I post on Instagram, and often the things I post here that are the most popular are the light, fluffy, fun things. And so there is space for that. There's a place for that, and I don't want to discount that because the beauty of the city, I love so many elements of life, and I'm so fortunate to engage with life in so many of the ways that I get to. But I guess at the very root of it, what I've been wrestling with, and I'll leave it on this. This is a massive can of worms to open, and I'm also curious to hear what you think about everything I've been saying below. I'm probably gonna wait to edit this tomorrow because, like I said, I'm toast. Got a little bit of a sun-induced headache, I think, right now, and also probably a little bit dehydrated and haven't eaten enough, and I started the day running and didn't eat, classic. But what I'm basically wrestling with is redefining and trying to figure out what does it mean to be a good person? What does it mean to be the best version of myself possible? Morally, ethically, health-wise. I'm just wrestling with a lot of really big questions, and this year has given me a chance to wrestle with that more than I had for a while. I mean, I'm always thinking about this stuff anyways, to some degree or another, but I'm definitely thinking about that, and weirdly enough, how you present yourself online, or how I present myself online, how I go about telling stories, how I go about engaging with the outside world is an extension of that question, and wanting to make sure that I engage with it properly and develop into the man that I want to be. Which is, like I said, a big can of worms to open right at the end of a video, but that's what I've been ultimately, I think, wrestling with. And it doesn't make for necessarily the most fun conversation at the end of the day, but it's important. Thanks to today's patron producer, Jennifer Watson, for sponsoring my wandering deep thoughts for the day. Not necessarily anything particularly deep, I guess, but just nebulous. Thanks, Jennifer, I appreciate it. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks for being here. And I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever it is you are. And I'll see you tomorrow or the next day with some fresh baked Parisian vloggy pastries. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you're doing all right. And I'll see you tomorrow.